Good morning, good day, or good evening, listener. And welcome to the Goats Podcast, where we aim to find the very best, or worst, in every category, from serial killers to wanking, which interestingly enough aren't too dissimilar to each other in Mork's eyes. Speaking of which, I'm joined as always by my good friends and heated argument rivals, Sebek and Mork. How the devil are you two doing?
Mate, I've got a story.
All right, Sebek's got a story. It's Willy time with Seb. Let's go.
Right, there's no penises involved, but
Damn it.
not unless you fucking count the bloke next door. Obviously, Vinny, I already mentioned this to you the other day, but I'll just fucking
carry on. Yeah.
For Mork's entertainment, basically, obviously, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I have bought a boat.
This is brand new information.
I'm sorry if I've left anyone feeling in the dark about that, but I did buy a boat. Anyway, so Sunday, first day of me just on the boat, not having to do anything. Like, obviously, there's jobs and that to be done, but like I'm not moving or anything. So I treat myself to a lion, and it's fucking 11 o'clock. What?
Not a tiger. I'll show myself out.
That was horrible.
Oh god,
that was Seb levels.
I treat myself to a fucking puma.
Just carry on the story. Sorry.
I don't know.
Can I
anyway,
leave?
So I'm having a lion, and then I can just hear something like, you know, when you're like, I'm like half asleep. My spidey senses start tingling. Like I can sense there's some sort of confrontation going on outside. I'm like, fuck's sake, I should fucking get up and deal with this. So I get my clothes on, open the door, right? And some geezer is just like moving my boat about. He's just like got the ropes to my boat and he's just like moving it about. And I'm like, but that's fine. That's just what people do. Like if they need to fit in, like they'll move and stuff. We were out at a bit of an angle. But basically there was nothing I could do unless the guy in front of me moved, right? The guy who's moving my boat then just starts untying some other random fucker's boat, moving that. And then the guy that's in that boat, he fucking comes out and he's fuming. He's like, why are you touching my boat for? And he's like, well, we need to get in. We've got to move. And he's like, you can't touch my boat. You're not allowed to do that. And he's like, well, it's kind of etiquette. And he's going, I don't care about the etiquette. Don't touch my boat. And then it's all kicking off, getting a bit edgy, right? And then the guy who's going like, don't touch my boat, who is a bit of a bellend, he's like fucking giving it the big ones, and his engine is on, and it's just fucking, it's a really loud engine. When I first met him, he was like, yo, we've got like a BT9 or something. It's a real thumper, and basically it just means his engine's really fucking loud, and he run into it all the time because he works from home, so it's just like boo, 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 boo. Anyway, in the middle of this argument he's having with my new mate who's tried to move his boat, I just hear this like screaming. What the fuck is going on? And then just a bit of bread just goes just past my eye line. I'm like, what the fuck was that, right? I look up, and on the canal's next to this like estate, and off the top of one of the tower blocks, this woman's just fucking screaming, turn your fucking engine off! It's been going all weekend! And she's just throwing slices of bread like they're ninja stars. She's just going like, and they're just flying past. Like, what the fuck is going on? And there's just bread hurling down, and then all the boaters that were previously in conflict are now attack from the bread lady, right? She's throwing bread, pigeons are going for the bread, so there's just all this fucking, there's like birds everywhere, there's ducks going, and then I'm like, I'm getting out of there. I'm like, this is too much for me, I'm going back inside. So I start wandering off back to my boat. The last thing I hear is she looks at me. I've not done anything in this situation. I'm not the result of any of this conflict, right? She looks at me and she just goes, I hope your boat gets a hole in it. And then she just throws the rest of the bread in a big fucking bag, just hurls it, and just like donks into the side of our boat. I just went back to bed.
Wow.
You're one of them
Every
now.
week, living on a boat sounds worse and worse and worse every single week.
I got breaded, mate. Nah, it's actually good. We've got past the cusp. There was a piss-related incident that was, I honestly think, probably one of the lowest moments of my life, where the new compost toilet that we had, it didn't overflow onto the floor, but it like overflowed into itself. So I basically was just left like sifting through a bucket of my own and my partner's piss. That was really low. That was a bad day. Like that was Sunday night, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. This is really bad. But as of Sunday, I got the solar panels set up. Luce came home last night. Luce had fucking like done a big tidy. She put some rugs down. Really feels like home. And suddenly, boat life is the life for me again.
Apart from getting the general public hating you and people moving your boat and bread ladies.
The people moving my boat is fine. The being breaded, that was, I mean, it was quite funny. When was the last time you were breaded, mate? It was fucking insane.
I don't think I've been breaded.
You do meet some fucking characters, I tell you.
Yeah.
Also, just people, it's a very weird group of like people like me and Luce who are just like young couples, can't afford a house in London, so we're going to buy a boat. It's going to be really lovely. And then people who are effectively like water-based homeless people. It's split down the middle. And you just meet some of the craziest fuckers. They're all really nice. They're all
Sounds horrible.
And even like you'll be in the middle of an argument.
People.
You'll be in the middle of an argument and then you'll go, oh, but can I have a hand with this thing? And they're like, yeah, no, that's fine, obviously. Like everyone's like default is just like we help each other. So like even
because they all know how shit it is. So like,
it's not shit.
Yeah.
It's a really good time, except when you're being breaded.
Just does sound quite funny. What kind of bread was it?
It was like cheap white, just fucking.
Okay. Not the good stuff, not the whole bran or whatever.
No, she's not. I mean, you're not throwing.
It's not even like
seeded.
seeded. It's not even like farmhouse. You can't even like catch a few slices.
But yeah, obviously the piss sifting was low, but that wasn't anyone's fault. That was just a genuine pissy based. It could have happened to anyone. The sensor didn't go off because the toilet wasn't plugged in. One good vibe.
It's all up from here. It's all up from sifting.
I'm actually having a great time. I've got Wi-Fi. I've got faster Wi-Fi on my boat than I had in my flat. I've got a little log burner. I'm not paying any rent. Life's good, mate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Great to hear another episode of Seb's boating stories. Well, that's been Goats. Thank you very much for listening.
Next week when Seb says, "Oh, I've got a story." I don't know if you guys know, I actually live on a boat.
Yeah.
And the other day on the boat,
literally changed this podcast to boats. Boats featuring two best mates.
And an acquaintance they know who bought a boat.
Yeah,
what do you do on a Wednesday night? I do a podcast with my best mate and a guy we know who owns a boat.
Yeah, exactly.
He tells stories about how great his boat is, and we just laugh how shit it is.
Mork, how have you been? What have you been up to? Anything spectacular?
Yeah, fine. Seb, for fuck's sake, stop farting on the podcast.
I can't help it. If you don't point it out, it doesn't have to be in. You can just cut around it.
Yeah, but you can't.
Fucking hell, I can taste that.
Yeah, no, I certainly have not been doing anything as interesting as having bread thrown at me while living on my boat. I haven't bought a boat because I'm sane. No, nothing's... No, nothing.
Fair enough.
Nothing's happened. It's just been boring down in... Oh, actually, something did happen. Fennerton got a new road.
Oh,
really?
Mate.
That's big.
Fucking hallelujah. It's massive. The main road through Fennerton got repaved.
Oh, nice.
Like, fully re-tarmacked. It's like, I don't know how long. Not that long, because it's a shithole, but all week the road was closed, and they laid a new tarmac road down there. And I didn't hear anyone moaning, which is... surprising.
I'll tell you what, I need a little moan right now, actually. This is Moan podcast with two best mates and a boatman. But so my work is on the other side of Bristol. So I'm like in the west and my work's like in the north of Bristol. So it's a bit of a trek to get up there, but it's not too bad really. Just like 7 miles or something. It's just the traffic. But the bit that connects my part to this other part where I need to get to my work, there's one fucking road. No joke, it's one road. And this is like not in the center of Bristol, but this is still like a very populated part of Bristol. This is like the city for sure. There is one fucking road, and it has had construction on it for the past month, and it's gonna carry on having construction on it for another month, meaning I have to go all the way fucking around it every single time. What were they thinking? There's just one fucking road.
What were they thinking?
Yeah,
dude, just think, right? Sometimes in life, this is what happens. Like, something horrible like that's happening to you, and while you're in that moment, you're like, oh, this is so shit. think how fucking good you're going to feel that first day you get to drive that quick way again.
True. Plus
You'll be like, oh my God, I've literally saved so much time. I'm like positive on life time. Do you know what I mean? Like I've time traveled. I've gained time.
It's
yeah,
like,
but the problem is once that road opens again, because again there's one road. Everyone's fucking
traffic.
using that one road. So
Yeah.
it always used to take ages to get through that one road as well.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah, I just wanted to whinge about it.
It was like when I
Definitely
was
got
working
that.
in the office and I learned how to drive. Before that, I had to get the train, but the train, like, it was like an hour and a half trip, even though it's just across the city, because I had to walk to the train station, there's only just one train at a certain time, then walk all the way to the office.
why didn't you two just ride a bike, like a bicycle?
Mate, it would take.
Well,
It's all uphill, and it's like 7-8 miles.
Yeah, it would
I'm
take
not
fucking
doing that.
ages.
It would take like
It's all
40
up-
minutes, and it's
If
uphill.
it's all uphill on the way there, it's all downhill on the way back, mate.
I'm
Not
not doing.
Exeter's a valley, so it's downhill, uphill. Either way, you're finishing. But
Yeah.
then, and what
And I live
leaving
on a
work, I
hill.
leave at 4, and the train wouldn't leave till like 5, but it only take like half an hour to get to the train station. But then when I learned to drive, that like hour and a half to 2 hour trip would take me 20 minutes. So I'd get home like before 4:30. Like in the winter, it's still even slightly light. I'm like, fucking hell, I've
Sorry,
I've
can we
time
just-
traveled.
The other day, I told you about my fucking rap life hacks, and you fucking bemoaned me. And now we're
These aren't
talking
life
about
hacks.
we're talking about how nice it is when you get a little bit of extra time in your day.
That
What
is
is
nice.
this?
That's objectively nice. Your rap life hack wasn't a life hack. It was terrible.
Yeah, I'm with Morg on this one. should we
Well,
get into
the
the
reason-
episode?
talking about discovering new parts of life.
I like that.
Oh,
I like that.
It's a segue.
Yes. So, before a great invention, there is always a great discovery. The man-made torch which grows ever larger in the darkened room of life has forever been a welcomed and even sometimes necessary component to humans all throughout time. Where would we be if we never discovered where babies came from? I certainly don't like to think of that type of world, but I'm sure most new parents, Morg included, may indulge in that fantasy from time to time.
New parent.
Well,
You're a
just
relatively new parent.
relatively new parent.
I feel like I've been a parent fucking forever.
My point exactly.
That's because you've been looking after Vinny.
Oh yeah, true.
Anyway, I want to know. I must know. I simply must know what the greatest discovery of all time is. And who
I
wants
will
to be
go
the one
first.
to tell me first?
I'll go first if you want. I've got a lot of energy to bring right now. I'm busting off energy.
I love that energy. Let's fucking go for it. Start whenever you want, mate.
Well, speaking of energy, I need to get my notes up. But speaking of energy, what I have picked today isn't just the most important scientific discovery in the history of humanity. Isn't just
Of course it's not, because mine is.
Wait.
Carry on.
I'm showing you a yellow card for that one, more. No, that's dissent. That's dissent.
No, Steph interrupts me with shit like that every single week. Way worse.
I'm trying to clamp
Right.
it out now. I'm trying to clamp it out. So
VIR.
zip
that,
it,
mate.
zip it from the both of you.
That's an orange, mate. Right. What I've picked today isn't just the most important scientific discovery in the history of humanity, but the most important discovery in the history of humankind. Full stop. It is without
Same things.
no, because one of them's a scientific discovery, the other is a discovery.
Do you want another yellow? Do you want another yellow? I'm going to put you in the sin bin in a second.
If you're going to dissent, at least dissent properly, right? Actually think about what you're saying, because I said two different things. So come on, keep up. Right. It is without doubt the single point at which the course of humanity changed forever. Is the focal point at which you can say that humanity. It is the focal point at which you can say that humanity transitioned to becoming Earth's highest life form. I am talking about the scientific discovery, the moment everything changed, the first scientific discovery ever made, the moment when humankind tamed the Earth's elements and learned to control fire.
Nice. That was a good pick. I like that.
The impact of this single piece of knowledge cannot be overstated. It is without doubt the most important thing that has ever happened in the entirety of human history. Without doubt. And before you kick off, Morgan, I'm looking at you and I wrote this in my script. Before you kick off, yes, it is a scientific discovery.
I'm not doubting that.
The discovery of fire, and more importantly, the discovery of how to control fire, is science. Fire is the rapid oxidization of a material in an exothermic process.
Could you
Science.
Could you make the argument that every invention is in some way a discovery because you've discovered how to make that invention? Or is that getting too metaphysical?
Not every
about it?
invention is a scientific discovery, is it? Because
Yeah.
you might just improve on the last thing, but based on like practical needs, not necessarily
Okay.
because you've discovered a new. I think scientific discovery means you've discovered a new path of science that leads to further, like
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Do you know
I
what
guess
mean?
I guess the discovery part is the research side. It's the theory
Yeah.
before the
The
physical thing comes out.
Well, it's also
yeah. Like
It's-
inventing the shake weight wasn't a scientific discovery. They just improved
No.
on something that already existed. It didn't make any. They didn't make any new ground in terms of science
Well,
when they invented the shake weight.
They discovered a way to get people to pay to jack off, not not themselves, but a toy for exercise. So that's something.
it's true. Well, now exactly when humanity learned to tame the flame is a bit of a hot topic, so to speak. Not my joke. Literally every article on this is like, it's a bit of a hot topic, and they all think
Yeah,
it's
that is a point actually. How are you going to say when they do? Oh yeah, I suppose it's not. No, it's okay. Don't worry. You're just
The
saying
point-
discovering fire is
Yeah.
fine.
The point at which we discovered how to control fire is not entirely certain. There is some evidence to suggest that fire was under the control of early humans as far back as 1 million years ago. However, this is far from definitive.
How do they? Sorry, but do you know like what the proof is? The evidence is.
So yeah, there's
Cave
a couple
paintings.
of little cave paintings. Also, just there is very small amounts of early evidence of like what looks to be controlled burning. So like, it's obviously difficult to go back, especially that far, and say, oh, this piece of burnt carbon is from a wildfire. Oh no, this is from a deliberate fire.
Like a
Yeah.
campfire, yeah.
There is some evidence of fire around human settlements up to about 1 million years ago. How that fire was controlled is a little bit up for debate. There's kind of the theory is that for about 1 million years, for about 1 million years ago, we developed, or our early ancestors, we weren't even the same type of humans yet, but our sort of human predecessors gained an ability to kind of grab fire that had already been made by, say, a lightning strike, and then wrap that in like some kind of cloth or animal hide and hold that as a source of fire until it kind of ran out. But they wouldn't be able to kind of create new fire until about 400,000 years ago. And then by about 100,000 years ago, fire was absolutely ubiquitous with human life. Like it was the part of humanity that it is now.
Yeah.
Now, it seems a little bit silly to have to explain why the scientific discovery of fire and how to control it is so important. But for the sake of winning, I will.
Please do.
It provides...
I'm just adjusting my script now. That's all.
Oh,
Just a minor counter. Don't worry.
Fire provides a stable and consistent source for the three most important parts of our existence: water, food, and warmth. The three things we need to survive. With humanity's ability to eat, drink, and stay warm dramatically improved, we went from being entirely at the whims of nature to being under our own control. It allowed us to purify water, which meant we could drink as and when we needed to. It meant we could cook food, which killed bacteria and made foods which are previously inedible, edible. it also vastly expanded the amount of things we could eat. And the cooking, as the cooking process makes a huge number of previous ingredients fit for human consumption. This, along with the constant source of heat and the protection it gave us from predators, gave humanity space to breathe. With our most vital needs now consistently met, we were able to focus on other things, like developing agriculture and civilized societies. That is only possible because we knew we could consistently get the three most important things to survive. On top of this, the consistent high-quality diet that came as a direct result of controlling fire had a massive and direct impact on human biology itself. And this is where things get really interesting, because it doesn't just affect us socially, it affects our physical being. Who we are today is different because we discovered fire. Now, because...
Are you going to explain why? Like now? Or
Yeah.
later? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, now.
I thought you were just moving on to something else after just putting that out there.
No.
That massive statement out there, then just go, meh.
Well,
No.
also fire is pretty good.
So the reason humans are able to have by far... So fire is the... Let me just start again. Fire is the reason humans are able to have by far and away the most high-functioning brains on the planet. And it's not even close. You can say what you want about fucking dolphins or octopus. They're fucking great. But it is not self-indulgent to say that humans are, without any question, the most intelligent life forms on the planet. It's not close. You might think dolphins are intelligent. They haven't done 1.1% of what a toddler can achieve.
Yeah,
They are
I love
not-
it when people say, like, you hear on people on podcasts, like, they're kind of like disrespecting other animals' intelligence. Like, yeah, but like humans are by like such a far distance the most intelligent animals on the planet. In fact, I think magpies might even be the second, but or the most in terms of brain density,
Yeah, because they have really compact neuron density.
like
don't they?
brain
They have, like-
weight compared
Yeah.
to
Oh,
like.
is that why? I
things
always
like that.
wondered, because bird brain's like an insult you give to someone who's an idiot. So I
No,
always
yeah,
wondered
I know, it's
why
weird.
magpies was
Yeah.
so smart.
They have like
Yeah.
really dense brains. So like,
Yeah.
even though they're not as big, their neuron density is like very, very high. But I believe, even though they have a very high neuron density, and that means that they're more intelligent than other animals, our neuron density is higher than theirs, and our brains are about 25 times the size. So it's
Also,
like,
our brain weight as a percentage of our body weight, I think, I might be wrong, I think is the highest percentage of all animals,
I think
Yeah,
I've heard
it
that.
is.
I think I
which makes us, by default, regardless of perceived intelligence, the most intelligent group of the biggest
Yeah.
brains for our bodies,
Just-
our whole planet.
without any, it's not even close. So, and the reason
You're
we're
not
able-
cool to be like, humans aren't that clever. What about elephants? It's like, fuck off, mate.
Exactly. Well, it is like they are intelligent, but it's just not. There's
They're
levels to
fucking
this.
stupid compared to us.
Yeah.
So talk about how fire's changed biology forever, human biology.
Okay. So the reason we're able to do that is because we are able to burn the amount of calories we need to maintain our brains. Humans burn on average a fifth of their calorific intake maintaining brain function. That is unbelievably high
yeah.
compared to anything else. The only reason we're able to do that is by eating cooked food. In fact, we evolved to eat cooked food. Cooked food provides, in some cases, 70 or 80% more nutrients and calorific density than if it was left uncooked.
Interesting.
In fact, if humans only eat raw food, they can actually go into a calorific deficit even if they were completely full. So this is why having a raw diet is actually a bit sketch. As humans, we can't consume enough calories to maintain brain function without eating cooked food. It is
that-
actually impossible.
Is that because like the energy needed to process that food is more than the energy you get from the raw food?
Yeah, basically, because our bodies have basically we have allowed some of our body function to get weaker so that we can provide more energy to our brains. And that body function, so it's digestion. The reason that cows can have like whatever it is, like 5 stomachs, and we have 1, is because they can support that with their calorific intake. We can't. So our higher brain function, the amount of calories we need to maintain our brain function, means that we can't maintain the organs that would be needed to digest uncooked food. And it also, cooked foods provide the amount of calories we need, calorie density in food, to have the higher brain function we have. If it wasn't for cooked food, we could not maintain our brain function. It just wouldn't happen.
So stick that up your arse, Liver King.
That is literally true. Like, raw meat is really bad in terms of like calorific density. Like, we wouldn't be able to be what we are as a species if we ate raw meat. You just actually can't do it.
Does that mean, like, because I like my steak medium rare, obviously like a bit of red in the middle, a bit raw in the middle, I suppose.
Oh, I have it like proper rare, yeah.
But like, does that mean I'm getting less calories and nutrients than if I were to cook it well done?
So it's a bit of a difficult one. You will be getting different nutrients than if you had it cooked, but in terms of its net calorie intake, it will be lower because you will have to burn more calories consuming it than you would were it cooked better.
Interesting.
Or not better in terms of like what the body wants. And that's what's really, really interesting, is that we have actually evolved to eat cooked food. It's not just a decision we make as a society. It is fundamental to our existence. We, as animals, cannot survive without fire. And this is the only reason humanity as we know it exists. It is the fundamental piece of understanding that our entire concept of existence relies on, is the knowledge that we can consistently eat cooked food. If we didn't have that, we would not be what we are. We would be less than cavemen. We would have a lower intelligence than even our earliest ancestors, because we would not be able to survive in the way that we have. And just to put that into perspective, there is no place on Earth, no culture, no tribe, no people that do not eat cooked food. It does not exist, because we fundamentally... Yeah, and he's a penis, and he's on steroids. And he definitely does eat cooked food as well. Like, it's the most moronic thing. Like, you would die. That's the thing. Like, and that you can go and like, it's fucking crazy. Did you see that woman who died from only eating fruit? Like, you can't do it. Like, you will just die. Like, you can't.
She was one of those like hyper vegans where she only ate fruit that had naturally fallen to the ground because she didn't want to hurt the tree by picking it off.
People like that are asking to die early.
Yeah, it's almost noble, because it's like, okay, if you believe that, that's fair, but you are going to die.
It's not noble. It's so stupid. Like, chimpanzees, they pick fruit off trees. It's not morally just. You're not more morally on the high ground because you don't pick a fucking apple off.
And like, to be honest with you, like,
you're not.
Even our ability to eat cooked meat is like a big part, like the protein that we gain from cooked meat, and the fact that we are able to, because basically we wouldn't be able to eat enough protein to maintain our brain density without eating cooked meat. If you were to eat raw meat, it would take too much to consume it, and it would burn too much calories to consume it, and you wouldn't be able to eat as much of it because it would fill your stomach too much. You couldn't consume the amount of protein you need. And like, obviously you can be like, well, vegetarians and that is slightly different, because we've kind of taken an evolutionary sidestep in which we have created processed foods which allow us to get that protein density from other sources. But like, as a species, we are designed to eat cooked meat. Whether you want to or not, it's up to you. You can go and eat. But as a species, we are biologically designed to eat cooked meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I never knew that.
So, where was I?
Something about fire or something.
So there is no place on Earth, no culture, no tribe, no peoples that do not eat cooked food, because we fundamentally need it to maintain our higher brain function and existence. And it doesn't stop there. every single major breakthrough that humanity has ever made has involved fire.
Not correct.
Metalwork. Without metalwork is basically the thing on which our entire existence stands.
Industrial
That is
Revolution and all that, right?
Yeah, it's like fire and metalwork are what separate us from animals. Any animal can pick up a sharp stick. We make our own sharp stick.
I don't know about any animal could pick up a sharp stick, but I get, I get your point.
Any animal with a paw can pick up a sharp stick. Any animal can use a tool. It's not using tools is not what separates us from the animals.
No.
You can watch a crow beat a slug to death with a stick if you want. But what separates us is our ability to make our own tools and better tools than exist in the wild, and that is metalwork. Without that, every other scientific discovery that has ever happened would not be possible. It just wouldn't.
Wow.
On top of that, things that you take for granted, surgery, impossible without metalwork, and B, without the ability to sterilize our tools. You wouldn't exist. Again,
they don't sterilize them in fire.
Not anymore, they don't. But like in terms of like
so we've moved on from primitive technology like silly old fire.
Well, we haven't, as you'll go on to see. The steam engine, the thing which opened up the world, literally changed our society as we know it. Fire. You can't have a steam engine without fire. The internal combustion engine, something we use every fucking day, is fire. It's controlled fire. It's controlled combustion. It is inherent in our existence. Even the energy that you use today, sadly, probably, has been created by burning fossil fuels. Like,
yeah, that's not very fucking good, is it? Fire literally is destroying the planet.
It's integral to our existence.
It will be our downfall, though. It will literally kill all of humanity if we continue to burn fossil fuels, like you just said.
It's still integral.
What, integral to our death as well? I'm not arguing. I'm just saying a fact.
Integral to our being. It may be that it is not a sustainable thing.
It's a technology we might need to move past using quite so much.
I think it's a technology that we can't move past using, and that may be our downfall. But in terms of its importance to humanity, fire is humanity. They are inexplicably linked. Like without each other, without fire, we don't exist. And even going to the moon, something which we all agreed was probably humanity's crowning achievement,
was writing.
only.
Yeah,
writing was, remember?
Oh, right. No, what did we say? It was one of our greatest.
No,
the greatest act of exploration.
No, but we said it was something when we were doing it. We were like, it isn't. It's the greatest act. Yeah, whatever. Like probably the biggest thing, the biggest statement humanity's ever made. Michael spent 15 minutes wanking off about how important it is. We could not do that without fire.
Like if we really wanted to, we could have.
No, you couldn't. There is no chemical reaction strong enough to pull us from the Earth's gravitational field, other than combustion.
Mate, have you ever fired a fucking slingshot?
A giant slingshot. Right, carry on.
The discovery of fire and how to control it is the essential building block on which everything else we have ever achieved sits. It is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important and the greatest scientific discovery ever made. And I'm done.
Damn.
Fucking, that was early.
You got 5 minutes.
There's not very much to say about fire, is there? Can't be that fucking important.
It's probably my most concise and well-rounded argument I've made in 3 months. So fucking.
Well, we'll see if I can dismantle that later then, shall we?
So yeah, well.
Questions from the audience.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right. That's your question.
Yeah, all right, mate.
Fire, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. I've heard of that. I think I've heard of that. No, that's I think that's a really, really good answer. That's one of those things that, like, it is, humanity pre-fire is a very different story from humanity post-fire. It's like, that's what early humans are known for. Like, the big thing is they knew how to master fire, and then like everything sort of went from there.
I always thought it was the wheel, but I think I just watched the Flintstones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think fire is. I read in a lot of places like fire is kind of the thing that really separated us. Like it's like what it is science. It's our first ever dabbling as a species into science. Like it is the big piece of knowledge that separates us. Like there is no other animal on Earth that has controlled fire.
No, yeah, there is. I've seen a chimp smoke a ciggy before.
Yeah, but who gave him that ciggy?
He robbed it from a fella.
Fair.
But like it's the thing. It just doesn't get bigger. Like it is. It is everything that we do is fire. I mean, still not a day goes by in which we don't all interact with fire in some way during the day. Like literally, doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it is completely pivotal to human existence. I didn't realize that whole thing about actual human biology changing over time because of our reliance on fire, and how that's kind of helped us.
That's quite interesting.
Not only progress. Shut up, Mork. Not only progress as a species, but like flat out just evolve, like straight up evolve
100%.
into better creatures, more smart, more whatever creatures that more advanced, really.
And it's like it's everything that you see in front of you. It's the reason. It's the reason we don't have fucking fur. Like we don't need it. Like
So you got fire.
We dedicated our, and it's also the reason like we run quite cold compared to a lot of other animals. Like not obviously it's a real weird one. Like obviously it's all very relative, but like I think cats and dogs run like several degrees hotter than we do because they can afford to burn that amount of calories because they don't have to maintain their because they don't have to maintain their brain function. Like they don't have to do it. Whereas
they're a degree hotter. I know horses are a degree hotter as well.
We dedicate a lot more energy to our brains and a lot less to keeping warm, which again we can only do because of cooking and fire.
Basically, all of our evolution as a species has come in terms of brain power, as opposed to anything physical.
Yeah,
we've de-evolved physically massively,
and all of that is as the result of fire. Like we wouldn't have been able to make those changes. Like, and it's also one of those things. Like, if everyone says like, "Oh, the reason we're intelligent is because we eat meat," no, we ate meat before. The reason we're intelligent is because we ate cooked meat and cooked food. That's how we got where we are. And like, I don't believe there is a single discovery more pivotal. There just isn't. Nuclear fucking fusion or whatever. It just pales in comparison. It directly affected our biology.
So you'll go in the route of the first great thing that like everything else would have spawned from that thing. So. And it's still so great. Like it's still pivotal now. Like it's not like something that was great and then we moved past it. Like you said, we still use it every day. Yeah,
if you've got
drive a car to work.
If you've got gas central heating, that's every central heating.
The planet. You are contributing to the downfall of the human race.
Yeah,
but at least we can kill the planet. At least we have the power to, and I think that's
exactly. Yeah, it's not great, but it is. It is like that
kill
is
a fucking planet.
I fucking sometimes I just go out and I fucking spray aerosols into the air, like fuck the ozone layer.
Imagine like imagine like all the humans just lined up, like fucking come on then to the Earth. You think you'd never win? Like you'd never. All them people would never win. But actually, we're fucking doing them over, aren't we? Come on, then.
Right, I like that a lot, but I feel like we need to move on to the middle bit. And so, for today's middle bit, we have a quiz. Yay! No one's surprised.
Yay!
I'm shocked.
A quiz, and it's one of my favorite quizzes. It's the whoever gets the closest answer wins type of quiz.
Okay.
So essentially, I've got a bunch of big discoveries in the field of science and general human exploration. And I want you guys, for each one, to guess when, like the year, it was discovered.
Right.
Okay.
And closest answer wins. And I will say, disclaimer, I'm not going to lie, a lot of the times for these Yeah, that one was really distracting. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, Seb, you can not do that. Actually, you're deliberately being disruptive. Do we have to send you out of the classroom?
He fucking like smirks when he does it. So that's the worst.
Yeah.
part. He knows he's being a little
he
shit.
knows. He's deliberately doing it as loud as possible. He's a fucking 5-year-old.
But anyway, yes.
You live on a boat, mate.
So yeah, I will say disclaimer. If it turns out you know the year this was discovered, and you say it and it's actually like a year off, I'm sorry about that. But a lot of these, it would be like, oh, this thing was discovered in this year, and then it's like another thing will say it was discovered in the year previous, and it's like, which one was it? I think it was like the research was done in the previous year, and then the paper was released like to the public, and that's when it became known to the public like this is a big discovery. So sorry if you know you probably don't, but if you know the exact year.
I highly doubt we do.
Anyway, so who wants to tell me the year that X-rays were discovered?
$1890.
Yep, okay.
Oh, yeah. Was it before the 19th century? Because did they use X-ray, or was it actually much later? Because did they use X-rays in World War One and World War Two? No. I'm actually going to say it's like radiation, isn't it? So I think it was probably closer to the microwave, which was in the 60s. I'm going to say 1951.
Okay, so what is it? 1890 and 1951? Seba gets the points. It's 1895, just 5 years.
Oof.
Yeah.
So they did have it before. That's crazy.
Yeah. So discovered.
But then I guess discovering something and actually using it consistently are probably two
to the
things.
I think to the effect that we use it now, I think it might have taken a while.
I think they were like dicking about with it at the World's Fair, if I remember rightly. Because they used to fucking X-ray for you anything. I remember my dad telling me he used to X-ray you for your shoes. Just go in there, like, we'll X-ray your feet if you want. See what shoes you need. And then afterwards they were like, it's really dangerous, we should stop doing that.
When they realised, yeah. I've got a little fun fact. Discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, a German bloke, I believe, who named them X-rays to underline the fact that at the time their nature was unknown. That's why they're called X-rays.
Oh.
I thought it was discovered by Xavier Raimondo, but obviously not.
Let's just move on from that. So my second great.
Didn't even say it right. It's Xavier.
Yeah.
No. He's made up. I can make up his pronunciation. Fuck you.
He's on the moon.
Yeah.
So, second big discovery, quite related to X-rays as well. Radioactivity. When was that discovered?
Actual radioactivity.
Radioactivity, like radiation.
Because like obviously when they dropped the nuclear bomb, did they even know about radioactivity back then? Did they know about like half-life and the fact that you get radioactive poisoning, or did they just? Because I was thinking about Einstein the other day, they would basically just trying to make E equals mc squared, like you get more energy out of the amount of mass that you put in, but that doesn't have anything to do with radiation, does it?
Yeah. Also, that
when did they know
breaks
about
the laws of physics. You can't get more energy out of. But yeah, sorry, I know what you mean. Yeah, sorry, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but they were trying to get like atoms to create huge, vast amounts of energy. They weren't talking about radioactivity or whatever it was. I don't know, but it's probably earlier. I'm going to say 1912.
I say 1840, I think. Isn't it? Marie Curie and those lot, they were dicking about quite early on.
Yeah, Marie Curie was obviously a big figurehead in the early radiation scene. But unfortunately, Mork is closer. It was 1896, just a year after X-rays. So yeah, discovered completely by accident by a physicist by the name of Henri Becquerel. I will butcher his names. Henri Becquerel. And it's actually kind of interesting how he discovered it. He was really into fluorescence at the time, and he was like into like studying fluorescence. And at the time, well, uranium obviously glows because now we know it's because of radiation. But at the time, no one really knew why. And he was like, this is sick. I love radiation ore. I'm going to see if I can not you didn't know it was radiation, but he was really enamored by the fluorescent effects of uranium ore, and he was doing loads of studies with it, and he accidentally left a bunch of uranium, a block of it, on a sheet of paper in his office overnight.
I knew this actually. Yeah.
And then the next morning he came into the office and he saw that there was an imprint of the block of uranium on the sheet of paper, and that's when he was like, oh wait a minute, that's why that's
something must be coming out of. Yeah, he was like,
energy is just always emitting out from it, and yeah, and a lot of these people died very young.
It's crazy that
Marie Curie
so many scientific discoveries are accidents.
Yeah, actually, that's very true. A lot of them are just complete.
Because the thing is with science is, and again, Ricky Gervais spoke about this when he was trying to defend atheism. He said if you burn every single religious text and then waited another 1,000 years, you wouldn't get the same books again. But if you burn every single scientific book and waited 1,000 years, all those books would be rewritten in exactly the same way. And I think that's why scientific discoveries get stumbled upon by accident, because science is just there. We would have discovered fire again. We would have discovered the atom would be ever present. That's kind of what he meant.
Yeah, I know, but I think Rick Gervais is a kind of a fucking idiot. Funny though. That's actually kind of interesting because there's. I remember my friend telling me that. So the reason why you can still see a lot of Roman monuments and buildings still to this day, even though it's fucking 2,000 years ago, basically, a long time ago. The reason why these structures are still in place, like the Colosseum, is mostly still in place, for example, is because they used something in their concrete that when water gets introduced to it, i.e. through rain, instead of because rain would normally obviously decay rock away, instead the water would react with something they would use in the concrete and make it expand and actually strengthen the material over time.
Okay. So they're stronger than they were.
Yeah, I forget what it is. Maybe the Sistine Chapel is the biggest unsupported dome in the world, and it's because they use this concrete.
They use that stuff.
To this day, we have no idea what they use. Yeah. Because it got lost over time.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a technique, though, isn't it? I meant that's why things randomly get stumbled upon, radiation. Radiation's going to exist whether. And you can delete all knowledge of radiation. Enough time. We will rediscover radiation. We will rediscover the atom. We will rediscover fire. And that's why, when we don't know anything, humans have to kind of randomly stumble across this stuff because it's just the world. It's just the universe.
All right.
Didn't the Nazis make some kind of super concrete?
Did they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Do you know a lot about the Nazis, Sam?
I was about to say, let's move on. Every week. I was about to say, let's move on because you look incredibly bored, and then you just come up with the Nazis.
No, I was just thinking. That's my thinking.
The Nazis. So how often
just in his head, it's just Hitler playing the cymbals like this. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
When you type in Nazi concrete isn't the first thing that comes up.
Of course not.
Right. So. Yes. So we got a bit sidetracked with that. This is on to the space section of the quiz. I fucking love space.
Yes. Fucking love space, mate.
When was the planet Neptune discovered?
Ooh.
Not just when it was seen and it was just a star in the sky, but they knew that's a planet. That's a planet.
It was late. I know it was late. Because Pluto was only discovered very recently.
Yeah, the other day, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They discovered it, then they rediscovered that it wasn't actually a planet.
Yeah, reclassified it, yeah.
Neptune. When was Sir Isaac Newton cutting about? 18 what?
Cutting about.
Help me out here. 1860?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, I don't fucking... 1951 again.
1951. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I think it's probably earlier, but I'm going to just play it safe and say 1925.
Wow, you guys have way later than I would have expected. Sebek is more correct, though. Right, it was discovered in 1846.
Oh, fucking hell. That was not that long ago, I suppose. Well, no, it was ages ago.
It was after
I thought it was quite recent.
It was after the great, what do they call it in Europe? I talked about in the caffeine episode.
The
episode.
Enlightenment.
Yeah, the Age of Enlightenment. It was after
Yeah.
the whole age of science and enlightenment.
When was Pluto
Yeah.
discovered then? That's got to be within the 19th century. Yeah, 1930. Okay, I was
20th
getting
century.
confused. 20th century, yeah. So 1930, until 1930 they didn't even know Pluto existed. That's crazy, isn't it?
Pluto is fucking tiny and very, very
Yeah.
far away. So fair
No, but
enough, they didn't know that.
When we grow up, we just know Pluto.
Yeah,
we just
yeah,
know
yeah.
of it.
But it is
It's
fucking tiny and very, very far away. Plus, it orbits in
Yeah.
a really weird way, make it look more like a comet.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So yeah, evidence suggests that Galileo Galilei, as far back as the 17th century, knew about Neptune's existence, but he didn't say that it was a planet. He just thought it was just another star in the sky.
You didn't take a
Right.
photo of it.
That was the 17th. Never mind. When were Saturn's rings discovered? The iconic rings of Saturn.
The first time you bent
Before
over.
that. Nah, not before that. When was that? 1840? 1846 or something.
Neptune was 1846, yeah.
Sorry, did everyone
Don't
miss my
Saturn's
really good
rings
joke?
disappear because they go on a funny axis and then you can't actually see them?
Did you hear my joke?
Yeah, it was terrible.
I said the first time he bent over because of his
Yeah.
arsehole.
So you had to do the same walk?
1865, I'm going to say.
Okay, 1865. So
I'm gonna say
Because if they had a telescope powerful enough to see Neptune, they probably would have seen Saturn's rings.
I'd have said 1724.
I can say without a shadow of a doubt, Sebek is closer. It was
What?
1655.
What?
Yep, it was a long, long time. The thing
Man,
is,
fuck history. I never know how long away shit was.
the thing,
What a sentence. Fuck is she? I never know how long away shit was.
very Devon tracks. Yeah, so another fun fact, also observed by Galileo Galilei. He observed a lot of shit before he realized what it was. But he thought they were just two large moons that were just on the side of the planet, and once
Right.
referred to them as Saturn's ears. And funny enough, you said that thing about sometimes Saturn dips in a way
Does that? Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't see the rings.
Yeah.
He actually saw that because in 1610, that's when he first saw Saturn's rings, and in 1612 he saw that. He looked up again and was like, they're fucking gone. And so he mused that Saturn had eaten his children, much like the
Kronos,
Greek
is it
god. Yeah, Saturn is the Greek version of Kronos.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Roman version of Kronos. So the Roman
Yeah,
god
yeah.
Saturn
That's his
ate his
name.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool.
That's
They're all
cool, isn't
named
it? Yeah,
after
because they're going to
Roman
disappear
gods.
again soon, Saturn's rings. We won't be able to see them again from Earth.
He's going to stand back up.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, so that's 3 points to Sevek, 1 point to Mork. Go on, Mork, I believe in you.
Yes. I don't.
So, we're going to do some medicine now, some sort of biology, human biology. So, when was penicillin discovered?
So you can go first. I've gone first most of
I
these.
did this at school. I think it was about 1820.
Okay, 1820.
Alexander Fleming.
That's the guy.
I know that they like what 1 trillion more people would have died in World War One and Two if antibiotics and penicillin and all that kind of stuff hadn't been discovered. Is that right?
I think 1 trillion might be a bit off, but
Half a trillion.
What does I say? 1820. I'm gonna get 1840 then.
It was actually, you were close with the World War One, World War Two stuff, but it wasn't World War One they had it in. It was World War Two they had antibiotics in.
Ah, yeah.
It was discovered in 1928. So
that's
more
way later.
closer.
Oh, fuck, I was 100
Yeah.
years out.
Well, that's modern.
I was gonna go for that. Yeah.
Everything before then is I don't think is considered modern
Medicine.
science, or maybe germ theory might be the birth of modern science. I don't know.
Germ
Modern
theory,
medicine,
yeah.
modern medicine. Sorry. So yeah, although many ancient cultures all throughout the world, including like China, Australia, parts of Europe, used the healing properties of fungi, and this, some fungi actually naturally produces penicillin. It wasn't until 1928 when its effects were properly identified and isolated. So, human blood groups, when were they discovered? So, like blood type A,
Crikey.
blood type B, AB, O, all that good stuff.
Now, that's again another good question. Were they used in World War One and Two? I don't think so. I know, like nowadays, and going back quite a while, everybody needs to have their like blood group on their like dog tags, and they did have dog tags in World War One and Two, didn't they? They did have tags.
They did in 2. I can't remember if they had it in 1.
But did they have their blood group on there? I doubt it. I don't know. I'm gonna go. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go 1930 in between the two, just in case it was either or.
Okay,
But I reckon it
1930.
was around then.
See, I know from worky stuff that blood grouping was kind of the predecessor in terms of like forensic diagnostic, what's it called?
DNA.
Forensic investigations to DNA. Yeah, before there was DNA sequencing, they had blood grouping. DNA sequencing was like 81, I think.
1981.
Yeah.
It was. I think that's when they first sequenced the human genome. But I think I'll say blood grouping. Oh, I'm going to say like 1950.
1950. What was yours again, Mork? Sorry, 1930.
1930.
Mork, you were closer. You're really tying this back. It's 3 for 3 now.
Fuck off, Seb.
It was right on the bang on 1900.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, so they would have had it in the wars. Yeah, I thought they probably would have, especially in World War Two. Not
Yeah.
that they probably gave many field blood transfusions, but you know.
I couldn't find any fun facts about human blood groups. So discovered by Carl Landsteiner. That's your fun fact.
The
of the day.
only fun fact I have is my grandfather. He has a extremely rare blood group, like a massively. I think it's the rarest blood group. So
Is
he
that the one
donates
that's
blood
like
like constantly.
0.00001% of the population, and only
he's got, like-
people from that blood group can have that blood. And
I'm
no
pretty
other
sure.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
heard
he
about that,
donates
actually.
blood like all the time, like at every opportunity, whenever he's allowed to, like medically allowed to, like it could be every few months or 6 months or something. I'm pretty sure he just donates blood fucking constantly.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him. So 3 apiece. We have 2 more to go, and I'm not gonna lie. Pluto was gonna be my tiebreaker, but you looked that one up, so we'll have to come up with a new tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah,
on the spot
sorry.
if you guys. It's fine. It's fine. You can come up with a new one. So, when was the neutrino discovered? The neutrino.
What's the neutrino again? Subatomic particle.
It's a subatomic particle.
It's not the
One more.
negative part of the nucleus, is it?
I won't give you any more than that. It's a subatomic particle.
So what is there in the nucleus of an atom? Obviously, you've got the electrons around the side, protons and neutrons. So neutrino is not part of the atom. So it would have been discovered after the atom. When was the atom discovered? It must have been discovered around 1900 time, because Einstein was like big into that shit. Neutrino, 1950.
By the way, Einstein wasn't into. I don't think Einstein was into like atomic.
Well, it was like in and out of everything, wasn't they?
It's just
Yeah, it's
having a go.
I just sort of know him for quantum mechanics, really, but yeah, I don't know really. So what was your sorry? 1930,
50.
1950.
annoying.
Ballpark. Park.
I think it probably is around that time. I'm going to say 1943.
During the war.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe it was talked about in Oppenheimer, but I could be wrong.
Mork
It's
takes
gonna be
this
late.
one.
Yeah.
1956.
It could have been even later. 1956. Boom. Suck your mother, Seb.
So yeah, due to its extremely low mass, and the important part is neutrinos have no electric charge, that makes them perfect for useful things like nuclear reactor monitoring, we all know about that, or observing objects out in space such as supernovae, or black holes.
A neutrino
Pass things
walks
through
into
it
a
and it doesn't
bar.
affect it.
A neutrino walks into a bar and he orders a drink, and he says, "How much for this?" Then
No
And the
charge.
Anyway, moving on. So it's 4-3 in Mork's favour.
Am I the winner? Surely I'm the winner then, if that's a tiebreaker.
No, that's not a tiebreaker. We got one more, and then if you guys draw, I'll have to come up with a tiebreaker out my ass.
Oh, okay.
So, Sedek, can
Let's
you
go.
Can you bring it back, or is this going to be
Bring
the
it
biggest comeback?
This is
Sing
Istanbul,
it.
mate.
When was the double helix DNA structure discovered?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Not just DNA, but the whole double helix structure of it.
The genome was sequenced in 1981. Gonna say the helix. I remember the picture. The picture's in black and white. The woman stood next to the big fucking helix. I'm gonna say 1964.
1964. Cool.
I'm going to say 1970.
I'm afraid we're going to have to do a tiebreaker because Sebek is more
fuck's
correct. It was 1953. Discovered by Francis Crick, who was posthumously accused of coming up with the idea whilst he was high on LSD.
Accused of coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He still like found the thing. Like what? What do you mean accused?
I don't know. It's people that were weird about people using drugs back in the days, I guess.
Francis
Did he
Crick.
listen to the Beatles?
Francis Crick.
Oh, I was going to say, if his name was Francis Crick, I was going to be like, wasn't his big rival Francis Blood, but it doesn't make any sense.
Oh god.
Okay, let me just quickly find what's a discovery?
Higgs boson.
What did you
That's
call
too
it?
recent.
Seven.
I'm on fire tonight, mate. I'm slinging them out from all angles.
I wonder when. How about the discovery of the first black hole? Maybe. Let's see if this has a date to it.
Ooh.
Thought he was going to say something
Have you
else.
seen how big some black holes are?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
massive.
saw a size comparison. They were like, you could fit like 10 trillion suns into this black hole.
Okay, when was the first black hole discovered? I've got a year. I hope it says it's from Wikipedia. I hope that's a good sign.
1961.
1961 to Mork. Sebek.
I know Stephen Hawking, that Hawking radiation is to do with stuff that comes off of black holes. So it's like sort of bit before him. 1961. I would say 1975.
Both quite close. In fact, the answer is in the between both of you.
Exactly in between.
Not exactly,
Oh.
because there is a winner. The winner is 3 years off. And it's Mork, because it was discovered in 1964.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually known as a black hole at the time. It just says Cygnus X1, a galactic X-ray source discovered in 1964, became the first astronomical object commonly accepted to be a black hole.
Nice.
So I'm pretty sure they must have. Was it Hawking who kind of first theorized about black holes, or
Yeah, he was like the big black hole guy.
But,
Yeah,
but
He was.
he was a lot later than 61. When he was as Michael.
60s?
No, he
No.
was in the 60s.
No, he wasn't.
Well, yeah, he only died like a couple of years ago, and he was like, what, 70?
He's dead.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
What?
Stephen Hawking died. No way.
Like
2018?
4 years ago?
Why
6
do I
years
not
ago.
remember that? That's so weird. I thought it was
anyway,
so
no,
good.
sorry. If he died in 2018, age 70, then in the 60s.
Well, how old was he?
He was born in 1942, so he would have been 18 when 1960 popped around.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
was like the 80s, 90s that he was cutting about, as you would say. He wasn't doing it when he was 18.
I think you'd be surprised. Like when he was at university, he was like bang on to all the science stuff. He's a fucking super
No, he
genius.
wasn't. There's
He's
that
super
film
Hawking.
about it. He wasn't
Stephen
bang on
Hawking.
to everything. He was like having lay-ins and stuff.
Mate.
He didn't get in
Well,
it until he got the chair.
Sort of had to
Yeah, no.
lay-ins.
No, he didn't have
Anyway,
lay-ins then. He didn't have he came to. A lot of people don't realise that he didn't. The chair chose him later on in life.
I think we should
Professor
move on.
Xavier.
I think we should move on from this. Okay. Fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Mork. You have a very difficult goats
Not worried,
pick
mate.
to follow up from, but I'm excited
I'm not
to hear
worried.
what you think is the greatest discovery of all time.
I know both of you will agree with me as well. Anyway,
when you are,
If you say
Yeah.
XG, I'll kill myself.
is that discovery? That's an invention. That's you got to
Yeah.
discover XG.
so obviously it's a broad subject, and my first thought was nuclear fusion, but it's a two-sided coin, right? Nuclear power station's good, nuclear weapons bad.
Plus it's fission. That's fission, by the way, not fusion.
No, it's not. It's fusion. Fission is the one they want to do.
No. Fission's when you break apart big unstable molecules like uranium-238 or whatever it is. Fusion is where you fuse two things like hydrogen particles together, and that creates a fuck ton of energy. Which
Yeah,
is
that's what
the
they use
sun
in nuclear
does.
bombs.
No, that's fission
I googled it. I'm gonna Google it again now.
Mate, he's made you look like a right twat.
because it's fusing together the hydrogen particles. But maybe like the hydrogen bomb is like, because the whole idea is splitting of the atom. It's the fission, which is the splitting. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure this isn't. I'm not talking my ass.
Yeah, they haven't done fusion yet, have they? I thought that was
Fusion's the thing
They...
they haven't done yet. Yeah.
Fusion's one they want to do.
Sorry. Yeah. And fusion's the sun is a big fusion reactor basically, which is why.
Yeah, I
it's so
get them
strong.
confused. I'll say that again because I
Okay.
meant fission.
Sorry. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
So my first thought was nuclear fission,
Mm-hmm.
but to be honest, it's a two-sided coin, right? Nuclear power station's good, nuclear weapons bad.
I thought actually wasn't your first point. Your first thought was nuclear fusion, but you were wrong.
No,
The thing is, nuclear
I
fusion's
also-
actually probably much better than
Way
fission.
better.
It's just
Oh, yeah, way better, but just we haven't
can
really done it
harness-
yet.
Yeah, probably
yeah, we haven't
harness it.
really properly done it.
But carry on. Sorry.
But I also very strongly considered stem cells as well, because stem cell research is probably and still one of the biggest game changers in the world of science right now. Because stem cells are blank, unassigned cells within your body, which scientists can now manipulate and kind of give these blank cells new jobs within your body and turn them into tissue cells or blood cells, meaning that real human hearts or an exact copy of your heart, for example, can be potentially grown in a lab. So using stem cells, we can regrow new organs for people whose organs are failing, and this can go further and further and further.
Serious question. Do you think they could send some down below?
No,
Get a couple of extra inches on
No.
it.
that's not how it would work. They could grow you a new penis in a lab and then make you a longer one and stitch it on, I guess.
Well, not for me, but I've got a friend who's asking.
Right. Anyway, I didn't pick stem cell research because there's so much good stuff about it, but it's still quite a way away from being like proper reality of like everyday use. But it is really cool. So I had to find another one. But before I tell you which one it is, I need to ask you both a question. What does my computer, a vibrator, and my human hand all have in common?
There's a lot of sex jokes in this
Any
one.
guesses?
Yeah.
Should I just say it? They are all involved in the act of wanking. Now, the origins of wanking
For fuck's sake.
are very hard to trace, but it is safe to assume that it originated in caveman times.
No, we've been wanking before caveman times.
However,
Yeah,
the
chimpanzees
very
wank, don't
first
they?
first scientist that we really give credit to the discovery for is Felipe Enos Vank.
Are you actually like 12 years old or something? I'm annoyed you've wasted like 40 seconds of my time with that joke.
Felipe, did you call him Felipe Penis Wang?
No, Felipe
Enos.
Enos Vank, or Enos Vank, as he was actually known.
It's like
no,
Uranus
I'm
and
joking.
Uranus all over again.
I just thought Felipe Linus Bank was so fun. Yeah, that's an original Mork joke. You can't take that. It's stamped and sealed. Amy Schumer, if you fucking take my joke, I will come for you. Anyway, no, I haven't picked wanking, but all three of those things do have something in common, and that is my real pick. And do you know what it is?
They've all been slung up your mum.
Computer.
Okay, you've got to cut that. You can't say that about my mother on this fucking podcast.
Slung up your mum.
No. I'm about to show the bombshell of what my thing is here, and now you're joining about that.
Mate, you're fucked. I think Savak wins just on that. I don't even need to know yours. He's done you there.
No, in fact, the thing they all have in common is the greatest scientific discovery of all time. Electricity.
Ah.
And before you say, your hand doesn't have electricity in, yes it does. It has something called animal electricity in, which is nerves. It's a nervous system, which was discovered by this bloke who was fucking around with frogs' legs, twitching them about. And he was like, animals must have electricity in them. But anyway, electricity. Now, electricity has for thousands of years been thought about. Ancient Egyptians called electric eels the thunder of the Nile. And they even thought that certain like ailments and stuff could be like cured by giving a nasty electric shock to people.
It's funny they called it the thunder, not the lightning of the Nile, when thunder's the sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
maybe they
had the same
mistranslated the
words.
hieroglyphics. I don't fucking know.
Also, they're fucking stupid, aren't they? So
They're stupid, mate.
olden times,
What?
isn't it? They don't know what
Right.
they're talking about.
Olden
Yeah, they're
times,
eating
mate.
raw
Fire
beef
was
at that
invented
point.
in the oldest time.
Ye olde times when fire was first made.
But the earliest research into electricity was Thales of Greece in 600 BC, and he and others around that time would create static electricity by rubbing pieces of amber together and like charging them up.
Do they not have carpets yet?
I don't think so.
Just to
Not
shuffle
ancient
their
Greece.
feet on.
Probably had rugs. Don't know about carpets.
I don't know, yeah. But from 1600 to the late 1800s, a fucking enormous amount of people were involved in the proper discovery of electricity. And I probably will miss somebody important or something important, but in my mind, it doesn't really matter. And I spoke to Vinny about this as well, and it doesn't matter because it's about the thing itself. It's about electricity itself and why electricity is important rather than this person being credited with discovering it. It's fucking complicated, the discovery of electricity, so I will definitely get it wrong. But I'll try my best to give some brief history. So, in good old fucking England, right, this geezer called Hawksby created this little machine where he would turn a crank and it would spin a glass ball, and he would blow out all the candles in the room, and he'd put his hand on the glass ball, and electrical blue light would emit from the ball as he put his hand on, and the crowd was like, oh shit, son, what the hell is that? And it was static electricity. And this led to a little bit of a revolution in the time of Enlightenment. Actually, this might not have been Enlightenment. Enlightenment might have been after. But anyway, this led to a bit of a revolution in all these kind of like weird party tricks. And in fact, it was good old Benjamin Franklin who saw one of these electric shock shows where I think they had like a young boy suspended from the ceiling on like ropes, and they would go around and like charge him up statically, and he'd like pop balloons or not balloons, he'd like touch things and they'd go like zap, and the crowd was just like ah ha ha ha. And when he saw one of those they're like called like electric shock shows. It was massive. And
Wait, I know it's bad, but I'd love to go to a show and they just charge up a kid.
What did you say this was? The Victorian era?
This was whenever Benjamin Franklin was cutting about.
Cutting about.
I don't know when that was.
He was one of the founding fathers, wasn't he?
Not really. He just
18th
flew a
century.
kite in the sky with a key on it. And that was
18th
about it. He
century.
didn't really do very much. But after Franklin, there are three extremely important names that we need to know about. These three guys, the discoveries that they made really laid the entire groundwork for electricity and understanding of it. And they are Alessandro Volta.
Oh,
It's not George. I think it's a geek. It's something, I don't know, but I'm just going to call him George. George Ohm and Andre Marie Ampere. Now, Volta is credited as the creator of the battery. He combined 2 electrodes of zinc and copper, and this could hold an electrical charge. God, I've not got massive amount less. I can make some shit up.
You all talking to me, mate.
This could hold an electrical charge, actually being able to store electricity. But he was like, well, that's fucking cool, but I don't really know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. But then Ampere, who was a pioneer of electromagnetism, he furthered the connection between electricity and magnets, and he discovered that 2 electrically charged wires could attract or repel each other. And he also did all of the math around it.
Maths.
Oof.
That was
You
a real
watched the Super Bowl.
yeah, that's a bit of a real low point for you, Mork. I'm not gonna lie.
You
dropped a
hate the
couple
Americans
points.
more.
Yeah, I know.
Where did that come
Maybe
from?
I just accidentally didn't write maths and just read it. He also did all the maths behind it, which became Ampere's law, which states that the mutual action of 2 lengths of current carrying wire is proportional to their lengths and to the intensities of their currents. What he's doing is he's discovering about how electrical current works and how like electrons and electricity is carried through wires and how they repel each other when they flow in a certain direction and all this kind of shit. So he's now you're now getting a little bit of that linked with the battery stuff, kind of creating electrical circuits. And then we have Ohm, and Ohm was the founder of Ohm's law, or Ohm's law.
Ohm's law, yeah.
It's
Ohm's
actually
law, I
Ohm's
remember
law.
that. Yeah, I remember that now, actually, yeah.
Which is all about resistance in an electrical circuit and the passing of an electrical current through a conductor. And this can be seen as the equation of I equals V over R. So current, which is I, which is voltage.
No? Amps.
No, sorry, yeah, I've written this weirdly. So
Amperes.
current, which is I, and then is voltage, that equals voltage over resistance, V and R. And this is the fundamentals of electricity, which is still used today. If you don't have I equals V over R, we don't have an understanding of how electrical stuff works. We can't calculate any of this stuff.
That shit's huge. Ohm's law's huge.
It's the standard. And it's funny because I was named amps. So I is amps after
Amperes.
ampere. V is volts after volta. And R is ohms after ohm. So all 3 of these guys are so important that the basic fundamentals of understanding how electricity works, they're all like kind of the founding fathers of that because they're all got the individual
It's the
like unit of measurement named after them in the equation. It's really cool.
It's the same with radioactivity. Like I said before, the guy who discovered it, Henri Becquerel, and obviously then was it Madame Curie? What's her name?
Marie Curie.
Mary Curie and her husband, something Curie, I forget his first name. Those 3 people, like, they considered the founding people in radiation.
Yeah.
So they actually also, like that, have their names as the units of measurements. I think it's Becquerel's are like the biggest sort of unit of measurement for radioactivity, and then Curie's, I think they're called, are the smaller ones, which is, it's a similar thing.
It's cool, isn't it? Yeah, because like amps, ohms, and volts, they're all standard units of measurement that I know Seb's been getting familiar with as he's been doing his electrical stuff on his
Not
boat.
that much ohmage. I haven't been dealing with ohms.
No, you don't really need to know much about ohms. That's about resistance. Yeah, you
have, like,
mainly need to know
capacitors?
about amps and volts.
Who's watts? When does
That's
watts turn
power.
up?
That's like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
Watts is a guy. There is a Watts, but he's not particularly important.
I didn't
for
realize
this.
that watts is just a direct unit of power. Like you can convert horsepower to watts.
Yeah,
yeah.
because they do in cars. They say some countries say, "Oh, it's this many kilowatts."
Yeah.
Something about like the electrical charge. Yeah,
You could do the same with joules of energy and calories.
Yeah.
Like, gasoline has a fuck ton of calories per milliliter, but
Yeah.
you can't convert those into like actual calories in the human
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
Like,
you can't
energy.
eat that. No.
Yeah.
So after these 3, there's also another very, very important name in the early days of electricity, and that is good old Michael Faraday, widely regarded as one of the most important scientists of all time. His work and discoveries around electromagnetism, direct currents, and the electromagnetic field were game-changing. He created rotary devices using these discoveries, electromagnet spinners, and this would pave the way for the electric motor and thus the generation of electricity by spinning, understanding the magnetic field of the link between magnetism and electricity, spinning a magnet round and round and round, creating that magnetic field, and then running copper wire through it. That's how you generate electricity. And then we move on to one of the last names to mention, and probably the one everyone thinks of as well.
Frank
is, of
Zappa.
course, we need to mention Thomas Edison, Seb, not Frank Zappa.
That's great.
We need to mention Thomas Edison, who basically, he invented the fucking light bulb, right? Okay. Bing. And he then went on to start the process of generating electricity, eventually culminating in setting up a grid system, which would then start powering Lower Manhattan, actually giving the newfound wonders of electricity to people in their homes and replacing street lighting from stupid, primitive crap, inefficient fire, gas lights to new electrical bulbs.
I think you're forgetting someone.
I said I will probably forget loads of people.
Where's Nikolai Tesla in your little speech? Everyone always forgets him, and he was fucking badass, mate.
Yeah, well, I said I was going to forget loads of people, but it's not really about the people. It's about electricity.
Edison didn't invent the light bulb, by the way. That's a fact.
No, I said he basically invented the light bulb.
Also, I've been dealing with this a lot recently, which is that Edison, he was really pro alternating current, and
yeah, one of them was pro.
Nikolai Tesla wanted direct current, and direct current is better in every way, but Edison was just more popular and just sort of swept Tesla's work under the rug, and that's fundamental.
Well, they both have their ups and down benefits.
Do they? What's the benefits of alternating current?
Well, you can generate alternating current easier because that is the alternation when the magnet spins in there.
That's true.
What's direct current?
Direct
current's like a battery.
It's just
power continual.
But a lot of renewables create direct current, don't they? Like solar's direct current.
Yeah,
you know all about
that.
But
you need alternating current. Alternating current is like, if you ever taken a slow-mo video in your house and you'll see the light bulb kind of flicker, that's because you can't see it because it's happening at like light speed. But alternating current within your house, it does actually go on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. All the lights in your house are going on and off so rapidly that you can't actually notice it. And
it's not actually that high as well. It's only like 50 hertz, I think, is like the standard.
Yeah, they're constantly going on off.
Really?
And that's why you have like higher phases of power. 3-phase power is 3 separate alternating current things, all in a sequence, so that on-off sequence never ends. You're always on, effectively, and that's why you can run power stations and manufacturing and all this with the wonders of electricity. Anyway, I could go on and on and on and on about how they invented this thing and that thing and everything else, but we all know what electricity is.
I don't. What is electricity?
It is electrons positively charged. That's basically it. Because lightning is electricity.
They're positively charged. I thought electrons are negatively charged. But they get positively charged. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I actually do.
Mate, what's electricity? Tell me. Also, what's fire? You never told me what fire was. What's fire?
It's an exothermic reaction that creates combustion in a material. The fire itself, the flame that you see, fire and flames are two different things. Fire is the exothermic reaction, which is a chemical reaction that like chases itself. So
burns.
By producing heat, you then produce a chemical reaction that produces more heat until it runs out of fuel. Flames are they're basically smoke that is igniting because it's so hot. So it's a combination of like water vapor and carbon dioxide that is superheated by the exothermic reaction, and it's like flickering off. That's why it always goes up, because it's like raising up. It's like it's just very, very hot, like particles coming away from the combustion.
Interesting.
Well, electricity is a type of energy that consists of the movement of electrons between 2 points when there's a potential difference between them.
That's
What it is.
Do you know what potential
electrons moving
differences?
along a wire.
Do you know what the potential differences?
This isn't a science lesson.
You said it earlier,
This is
though.
why electricity is great.
It's
Huh?
voltage.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why people.
So-
yeah,
Well,
carry on.
Muhammad Ali, mate, he was so quick he could fucking outrun it. So how good is it? Nah, have you not heard? Like, he'd turn his light switch off. He'd be in bed before the light goes. I'm so fast.
After doing that thing, all I get is like what even was his name? George Foreman fucking shorts on my thing, just like saying how great Muhammad Ali was. Just popping up in my recommended. But yeah, we know what electricity is, but why is it so important, and why is it the greatest scientific discovery of all time? It is pretty obvious. Fire is not the key to society. Electricity is the actual key to society. Our world, every single thing we know, without electricity being discovered and harnessed, we as a species would not have progressed, which is similar to fire, to be fair, to give it credit. We would not have progressed any further without discovering electricity. The technology we could create was exponential until we discovered electricity, and now it is almost limitless. By unlocking its secrets meant we could innovate and evolve effectively at an incredibly fast rate. Pretty much every single thing in this world runs on electricity. Lighting. Everything in our house. Our cars run on electricity. Despite what Seb says with their fire, they don't actually run on fire. They need electricity to work as well. Without electricity, cars...
That's absolute dross. You can't have that.
You can't
say
have cars
run on fire. They do run on fire.
But you can't have a car without electricity either.
Yeah,
Take
you
the
can't
battery
have
off your car.
You can't have a car without fire. So fucking you can't.
Well, you can have an electric car.
Well, you can't have an internal combustion engine without fire.
But we don't want internal combustion engines anymore. Everybody in the UK must buy an electric vehicle from 2030 because
No, not
fire
anymore.
and
They
combustion
changed it.
engines are
They
destroying the
changed
planet.
it. Because it's
But
all
Seb, you can have a car
Right,
that only
right.
relies on electricity.
Let's not. This is a terrible
Trains
argument.
work on electricity. Planes can't fly without electricity either because they need the
can.
radar signal. No, they can't. The engine won't
What do
turn
you
on
mean?
without
No,
electricity.
the first fucking planes just did like bump start, fling the fucking motor
But we're
around.
not on the first planes anymore. We're talking about jetliners, fucking massive shit. It can't run without electricity. It cannot do it. The internet doesn't exist without electricity.
I'll
Our
give it that.
conversation we're having right now doesn't exist without electricity. This microphone doesn't work without electricity. Nothing you see here works without electricity.
Right.
Mobile phones don't work without electricity, right? I could go on and on and on. TV, cinema, radio, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, space travel. The list is
The modern
endless.
world. The modern world.
Everything
runs on
we know.
electricity.
And it is endless, and it will actually continue to expand. Electricity will carry on further and further and further and further. When we eventually, in a million years' time, when we're spacefaring, crazy, super smart, everything will just be electrical. There's nothing better, really, than electricity is the greatest thing we could have ever discovered. And it's crazy to think that the world existed before without electricity. Because like when you look around, you're like, what if we didn't have fucking light bulbs?
Have torches,
Like, anything.
flames, a naked flame.
Exactly. People's houses just constantly burnt down because fire is such a horrible invention and discovery. And
I mean, you would
if
be sad
electricity
as
was,
I think it's a horrible invention and discovery. Let's just what the fuck are you chatting? I know you want to win, but let's not just lie.
but if electricity was all of a sudden taken away, governments would crumble, nations would fall, and the apocalypse would be upon us. In today's world, that's a fact. Society would collapse. If there was a solar flare and all electrical devices ceased to exist, society would completely collapse. Rioting.
Wouldn't we just
what
go
would
back
do?
to how we were 100 years ago?
We
Like,
wouldn't
just
though, would we?
fine,
Because we've
wouldn't we?
evolved beyond that.
We haven't evolved. We've just got used to.
Society has evolved. It has changed. You can't sit there and tell me if a solar flare wiped out everything. What would you do? Your job wouldn't cease to exist.
What,
All
just do
banking,
something else?
money, infrastructure, everything would cease to exist. Your boat would stop working.
No, it wouldn't.
You wouldn't be.
Wouldn't
yes, it would.
sink.
It wouldn't sink. No, but you'd have no power.
It's got a fucking engine in it.
It wouldn't turn on because you'd need battery.
No, I'll just fucking bum start it, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah.
Be fine. I've got a fucking little wood burner. I don't need
But
none of that shit.
All of our
You're talking to the
infrastructure
wrong
runs on
geezer, mate.
electricity.
I'm off grid.
You're not off grid because you rely on electricity to power your solar panels.
think-
You've been installing for a week.
I think electricity basically enabled, in my opinion, even though we did crown LSD as the greatest invention of all time, which is a joke
Yeah.
answer that somehow won.
Because they pick fucking bread.
Yeah, to be fair, you picked sliced bread. We both picked joke answers. But I think that the internet is the actual greatest invention, at least of the modern era, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
And without electricity, you can't even dream of talking about something like the internet.
No. Without electricity, you can't have a conversation with somebody who's not sat in front of you.
Yeah.
Without electricity, there's no money, there's no society, there's no records, there's no banking, there's no.
I don't
nothing.
think there's.
Records, we still wrote things down.
Yeah, I think the Romans are pretty good with that stuff without electricity.
Yes, but that was.
There was
But that's what I
banking
mean.
as well.
But we have progressed so far that if it stopped, I'm not talking about did we manage to do it before. If it stopped now,
Yeah, because we're
Not
very,
everyone's-
very reliant on it.
that's what I'm
Extremely
saying.
reliant on
Society would collapse because our society has evolved past all of that. We need electricity.
It's-
We need to harness the power.
I think you two have picked very similar answers in the sense that without fire we wouldn't have humans, really. I feel at this point, or like humans we wouldn't have cities. We wouldn't have the last 5,000 years of history.
Well, we would
But-
evolutionarily not actually be what we are. We're
Yeah,
only
exactly,
able to be
exactly.
us. Like we wouldn't even be.
Exactly, because fire is so heat and food is so essential, and even like water. All three of them are sorted with fire, like the sanitizing of the water, the cooking of the food to give it more nutrients and to allow more things to be edible. Like all of the stuff. Fucking, this is why we turned into tribes, into cities, into whatever we are now. But electricity, on the other hand, is also the very fundamental reason we have modern life. Like so much fucking like all modern inventions pretty much are electricity based. Like
Yeah.
absolutely. Like our
And they need to. Yeah.
yeah. I
It
think
needs to be.
it's-
My last paragraph is now, and it will.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were finished.
No. This is the last paragraph, and this will say why electricity is the greatest invention of all time, and why it will continue to be the greatest scientific discovery, not only for now but for our future. And I know I keep throwing shade on Seb's, but why we need electricity more than we need fire. And Seb said we have never evolved past using fire, but we must and we will only with electricity, because it is key to our survival as the human race. Climate change is a hot topic. I know I stole Seb's joke, but I wrote it completely independently of Seb, so I had no idea I was stealing his joke, okay?
Oh god. Are we all original?
Aren't we so clever? But generating sustainable electricity is the key to fighting against climate change. Generating electricity without the use of fire is what the Earth actually depends on to survive. Everybody on this planet's life currently depends on electricity being our future, and only electricity.
Yeah.
If it keeps your food cold, it makes your food hot, it heats our homes, it cools us down. And if you're thinking, no, I've got gas heating that heats my home, like Seb said, well, moving to electricity and electrical heating is what's going to stop the planet from burning to death. And actually, no, your boiler will never work unless it's ignited with an electrical thing. All modern boilers work with electricity as well. Every gas appliance you can think of pretty much uses electricity as well, unless you've got a log burner. And like I said before, the only reason we're having this conversation, the only reason anyone's listening to it is because of electricity and the incredible discoveries made by these people, and many, many more that I didn't name. Tesla, various other people. Sir Humphrey Davies did a bunch of cool electrical discoveries as well. But electricity obviously is the GOAT, because not only does the world not work without it, and we need it more than ever before. We need electricity more than we've ever needed it. We have to drop fire, stop burning things, stop burning coal, and rely solely on electricity, and generate that electricity without burning things as well. We only need electricity. You can't name me one thing we need fire for to survive as a human race that we can't do without electricity. And that's why it's the GOAT. And I also put at the end, and electricity means, we no longer have to rely on stupid primitive ideas like silly fires.
Is that the thing you added halfway through?
Yeah.
When you were like, I'm just altering my script.
No, but it's true. We're like, you can, you know, I don't want to just be like I'm not actually bashing Seb, but
Not yet.
knowing about the electrical industry, they need to be purely electric. They don't need fire anymore. Burning things is bad. They need to be able to generate electricity
Yeah, I
just
think
on
I agree.
electricity.
I think I agree. Yeah. Like I said,
We can cook food with electricity. We don't need fire to cook food. We can do everything with electricity. We can heat, cool, everything. And as long as that electricity is generated without fire and it's being used with no fire, the world won't burn.
Yeah, like I said, you both have picked, I think, very kind of similar answers, really, at the end of the day, because
Yeah, I think so.
Sebek's, you know, fire is the last million years of human history. Like, it all spawned from fire.
Yeah.
But electricity
is the next million years.
is the next 1 million years.
Fire's
Possibly,
killing
unless
us, bro.
until we find the next thing, that like dark
I don't think-
radiation
I don't
plasma
think-
balls that like
Yeah, that's the thing. I
is the
don't think
next
it really
thing in-
exists. Like, electricity is fine.
So
But is it? We don't know. Fire was fine.
I think
You know?
Fire's never been fine.
Well, electricity, but we thought it was fine. We didn't know. There
We
might be
know
something-
enough now to know that it's.
Well, no, we thought we knew enough then. You never know what you don't know.
that's true.
Also, we've not evolved. Fire hasn't. No, electricity hasn't directly impacted our evolution. Hasn't allowed us to become more intelligent.
No, but it will allow us to evolve more because fire. I'm not diminishing that fire, but fire will literally
but-
destroy the entire planet unless we evolve to use the greatest
only if
scientific
you've got that
discovery,
attitude.
electricity. Like, if we never discovered electricity and just continued just burning shit constantly, the world would just still die. But if we drop fire, you said we
It's-
can never move past fire. We got to.
Yeah.
It's not that we can't.
That's why it's
or we won't. We literally have to do it.
it's a really hard decision because like I literally just said that is the future of like human growth and in technology and evolution maybe but without
Neuralink
fire,
chips in your brain.
without fire we wouldn't be having this conversation either. Without fire maybe the human race completely dies out or just never ever evolves to be the smartest on the planet.
It's hypothetical, isn't it? It is hard to prove that.
Well, it isn't hard to prove it. It's almost hard to prove that it wouldn't be the case. Like, we directly
yeah.
know that it completely dramatically led to what we are now. Without it, before it, we were not human yet. We were still animals. And
Was it Homo erectus they think is the first
yeah, it's one of the
like-
homos. I think it's
we're homo, we're all homos.
exactly.
I know, it's just so funny when someone says it.
But I
Fucking
think there's like a lot of debate because obviously there was a lot of different early forms of human sort of not cutting about, as Michael would say. I think it's kind of debated exactly. That's the thing. It was pre-human. It was pre like what we are now. Is a different species invented fire. Not a different species. Yeah, different species invented fire. You know, controlled it. We simply reap the reward.
Yeah.
Which is
It
mad.
wasn't even
Sorry.
discovered by
I-
humans.
Well, it was discovered by humans, but a different kind of humans.
I just gotta, you know, in a tough decision like this, I gotta think, what would my favorite thing suffer? Like, my favorite thing in the world, which out of fire and electricity would a lack of that, would it suffer the most?
And you would not be able to blaze the herb without
And I
fire.
would not be able to play the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind without electricity.
And he would be able to blaze the herb because he could just light his electric grill, powered only by electricity, not fire, using
That's still
electricity
fire,
generated
wasn't it?
by.
I power
Is
my
that
electric
fire?
girlfriend.
No, once
We have
once
electric
the
sex.
once the fat dube's online, once the fat
Electric
dude
vaping. Done.
still burning.
Eating.
It's
Done.
surprising. It's a different thing. Anyway,
All right, you done me there. You fucking done me there.
that leads me to make the decision that electricity is the greatest discovery of all time. That honestly, it was very, very close. Like, I don't feel hard done by Seb. Another day, I would have gone for fire. Like,
Nah, it was good. To be honest with you, about halfway through Michael's argument, I was like, he's just picked Fire 2.0.
Yeah,
He's
that's what I
actually
mean.
fucking
It's-
mugged me
I
right
can
off.
see you like, every time I was making an incredible point about how like we have to move on from. I can see Seb like fuck.
yeah, he kind of agrees. He kind of agrees.
You basically fit.
He's
Like,
trying
I,
to keep a
picked,
straight face, but I could see that veil. Like shit, he's actually right.
I picked Fire and you picked Fire GTI. I was like, shit. It's just what I said, but better.
Yeah, it is better, I'm afraid. Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know what it's going to fit. When you said fire, I was like, oh, that is quite good. But as you were talking, I was like, oh, yeah, but electricity is so much better, though, surely. You're lucky I picked electricity, because I was going to pick something really stupid.
Like what?
I don't know, just like something funny, like wanking.
You did pick wanking for a solid 40 seconds, and I hated it.
VAR or like
Yeah, but if I hadn't picked wanking, we would have had whatever Felipe Inus Vank.
not even a joke. I'm not even sure that
It is
works.
because it's P, Felipe,
Yeah, I
P-I, Inus, penis wank.
It's a joke, but it's not a very good one. I think we can all agree on that one. But yeah, I'm glad you guys actually took this one seriously. You didn't pick fucking Rasputin and that bloke from that one Vine.
Pickering would
Yeah.
fucking batter Rasputin in a bare knuckle. So don't come at me with that.
What was Rasputin versus Ronnie Pickering? What was
Hard
that?
man.
Go with Ardman, yeah. Fucking
The greatest
shit.
episode we've ever done.
Of shit. Fucking terrible episode. I hated it.
Oh, man.
Rasputin versus Ronnie Pickering. Wow.
that was a point in our
No, I'm glad we took it seriously. So I gotta say though, I don't know about Seb, but researching the discovery of electricity was fucking long.
Yeah,
Because
mine
there's
was,
so many people, there's so many inventions, and who discovered this particular thing about electricity, who discovered this particular thing. I was like, God damn, right. I just need to mention as many influential people as possible and then just cut and start talking about why it's cool.
well, mine was just like,
It's-
I just Googled like, why is fire important? And it's just like, fire's the most important thing that's ever happened ever to humanity.
Yeah,
was
I
like,
read
I'll
up-
just sum that up.
I read
fine.
Yeah.
somewhere that Charles Darwin himself said that fire is the greatest discovery of all time. But I think he was maybe semi before electricity. I feel.
It was before electricity, yeah.
Yeah.
He was yet to cut about with electricity.
Yeah. Had you shown him modern tech, if you'd shown him the iPhone, he'd have been like, "Oh shit, fire! What? No way, bro!" He'd have been playing Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Imagine, I do think that's funny sometimes. Like, this isn't my joke. I remember hearing this on a podcast ages and ages ago. But like, thinking about going back to a caveman and like explaining an iPhone and being like, it does all these things and all this and all that, and like, it means that my mate can like send me a message from 100 miles away, and I'm like, and then right, I press this one button with a little fucking half moon on it, so it doesn't do any of it and it doesn't disturb me. Be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, your mate can send you a message from the other side of the globe, and then it's making you feel a bit pressured, so you just turn it
Yeah.
off. You
Yeah.
fucking loser.
Oh no. It's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, electricity is like the greatest. I can't see another thing propelling us. Like, we need to have more of it to propel us as a human race. Like, when we're like star-faring people, yeah, probably have better engines.
Maybe when we've cracked nuclear fusion, that will be. Well, I guess it's
Yeah.
converted into electricity, right?
But then that's what I mean. Like, we'll only ever
that's
get
the
better
thing
ways of
we
generating
that's the
electricity.
useful energy we use is electricity. That's the thing that everything
Yeah.
works with, and everything's like made to work with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We'll
true.
get better engines. Like, we might be able to like, oh, we don't need to have electric cars anymore. We can have like mini nuclear reactor cars. Like, we can make tiny little nuclear reactions happen in a small thing.
Imagine
like,
one of them
and that can
fucking
power a
crashes.
car.
Jesus Christ.
But like, that would be cool, right? That would be advancing. But we'd always have electricity. That would be the core thing. We would never ever be without.
Yeah, that's true. Just until we get the powers from Starfield, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, and even then, I'd rather just have electricity than the power some stuff if they were lame.
That's true.
Right.
That was the worst bit of Starfield.
I think we should end the episode.
And
now.
then
We'll talk
Dragon
about Starfield.
shouts.
Right.
Right, so yeah, that's been fuck Christ. Episode 88, Goat's Scientific Discovery, as we've all learned today. Apparently it was electricity. I don't know who decided that. Catch us next episode. The greatest cartoon character.
Peter.
Oh, Peter. I'm gonna pick Lois Griffin and you pick Stewie Griffin.
Who is it again? Who's what? Who's it versus?
It's me versus Sebek.
Oh, thank fuck for that. Because I could not pick a greatest
Right.
cartoon character.
You do
of all
Rick,
time.
I'll do Morty, mate. Wubba Dubba Doctor.
No! The ultimate paradox!
Rick. Oh, pick me. I'm the greatest cartoon character.
Oh, Morty!
Morty, man.
Rick and Ozzy Morty. Fucking Bogan Morty and just regular Rick.
Oh, yeah. Rick and Morty from Bushworld Adventures.
Yeah, oh mate, honestly. I'm gonna pick fucking
I've got a real gun, Morty. I've turned my portal gun into a real gun, Morty.
I'm gonna pick Uncle Barry as the goat cartoon
Uncle
character.
Barry, Morty.
Uncle Barry,
Uncle
but only as a
turned
youth.
into a car.
Only in
Uncle Barry
only
is a
youth
youth.
form. Anyway, I think we need to end this podcast. So
Yeah.
thank you for listening and love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Electricity is the greatest. Love you. Bye.